This shit is wild. This is 2 times in 3 weeks where we done talked about armored heist in LA, bro.
I mean, remember LA was that was the setting for the bit. What was it in the 90s?
Oh yeah, where they had the armor on.
Yeah, it was the 2 dudes, and they took the whole police department on one. You know what I mean?
My mama, the police had to go break into the gun store to fire back at you.
Yeah, I think that's why they started letting them carry the street sweepers and shit like that, right? Because here they are with their Berettas and shit, and these motherfuckers got fucking fully auto things with body armor and
tearing shit up, bro. Oh my mama. So everything. Here we go. Let's kick it off, y'all.
String of brazen armored car robberies on the streets of LA that seemingly couldn't be stopped. And now, more than 2 years after the first, most members of the crew are either behind bars or dead. Eyewitness News reporter Leanne Suter joining us now with a look at how law enforcement finally caught up with them.
Mark, detectives dubbed them the Chesapeake Bandits, named for the street where they allegedly gathered to plan their heist, making off with 6-figure hauls. The complex case playing out like a made-for-TV movie.
Hey, he's climbing down. He's climbing down. Hey, get back inside. Get back inside. He's got a gun.
A daring leap from his 3rd-floor balcony with an assault rifle.
Don't reach for it. Don't reach for it. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Stop reaching for it.
Turns deadly as Zeph Rocco grabs for his gun. The recently released body cam and surveillance video showing the dramatic end for a suspect believed to be part of a brazen crew of thieves dubbed the Chesapeake Bandits, who targeted armored cars.
This group has targeted ATMs and other businesses, including check cashing locations, and the suspects operating by overtaking the armored car driver while they service drive-through ATMs or exit businesses.
The FBI and LAPD piecing together a puzzle that included suspects dressed in painter jumpsuits, often wearing body armor, and armed with assault rifles and zip ties. A Hollywood whodunit of robberies totaling more than $500,000. The crimes committed in broad daylight, from this Brinks truck targeted in front of a Reseda Taco Bell to ATMs and check cashiers in South LA, Hawthorne, and Inglewood.
The victim drivers have been zip-tied and detained as they are held at gunpoint while being robbed.
34-year-old James Russell Davis and his half-brother, Denavius Hobson, believed to be the original masterminds, carefully picking their targets.
In some of the instances, defendants Hobson and his half-brother Davis were observed casing the victims weeks in advance of the robberies.
After authorities nabbed the brothers, they zeroed in on other members of the crew. One found murdered in a field, Rocco holed up in his apartment.
Zeph Rocco, this is the LAPD. We have a search warrant for your location.
His attempt to escape costing him his life. Officers finding his assault rifle, multiple high-capacity magazines, and body armor. Evidence in a complex case ripped right out of the movies. All 2 of the suspects are dead.
All right, give me your thoughts on that shit right there, bro.
I think that once them, there's not really no hustles no more like that.
Talk about it.
Because like
the cameras and technology makes it difficult.
It makes it difficult, and now you cats that's used to getting their money a certain type of way, they going for broke now. You know what I'm saying? And you see, like, even with streaming, like that money is sporadic. It's not a daily hustle. You know what I mean? Like we used to go on in the 90s where you can make money every single day.
Yep.
A lot of the hustles are getting snatched, getting phased out. And because of that, dudes is going for broke. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to straighten up and do the 9 to 5 thing. So they going for broke. Because you see more and more of that lately,
Yeah. And when they use the word, you could have a heist. They'd be like, oh, there was a heist pulled off. When they say a brazen anything, you know what I mean? Because brazen means like super outlandish, like, oh, I can't believe they did that shit. They're wild. And you know what I mean? This robbing armored trucks and then repeatedly doing it, honestly, to me, I'd say is greedy. You know what I mean? Because also, like he said, there's not that money comes sporadic. You hit an armored truck, and how many cats do you got? 7, 8 on the team. you know, you might, how much money do they really got on that armored truck? You got to, you know what I mean? Maybe you splitting 180, maybe a $250,000. That money goes up quick. You know what I mean? Already you plan. Matter of fact, I bet you some of their heists, they use some of the money to get more things, more guns and more body armor. And, you know what I mean?
Because
Just
you
so
got to
they can
think,
pull
right?
off more brazen
Yeah,
robberies. You know what I mean?
because you got to think, all right, you hit a lick for 100, 200K. What are you actually gonna do with that money?
For real.
If you're not gonna try to make some type of investment to keep you paid or put your money behind something to bring you back some residuals, then you're gonna be out there doing that again.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not gonna go, most of them don't go back to getting, square up after that. You know what I'm saying? So what's the next move after you get a bag of money? To
And
live off the money until it run out?
They said they caught the bros, right? And then they started catching everybody else after. So I wouldn't doubt like somebody started singing, right? But then also at the same time, like they said they found one of the dudes dead in the field. You know what I mean? They maybe they murked that guy. So when they're coming here, they know it's more than just these robberies. You know what I mean? Like Buddy that jumped out the thing. You know what I mean?
Mm.
I like. Oh, my bad.
No, go ahead.
What Slim said about hitting that first time, hitting for the lick that first time and getting some dough and not being able to further the dough, make the dough, triple over and whatnot. But sometimes the motherfuckers, when you get away, you get that feeling. You get that feeling like, man, look, I'm invincible now, no matter what they, the first job hit for, because it said they accumulated close to 500,000 in dough, right? You know what I mean? I don't know how many licks it was, but the thing too, though, about like how you said, Slim, about not being not no real more hustles like how it was when we was growing up, and all the older rallies was the real D boys, and you know what I mean, because it was abundant, you know what I mean. But just being not too far removed from the PPP, the EDD, and all that shit that was going on during COVID and all that shit, them niggas was really getting a lot of money real fast. And then right before that, the swiping, you know what I mean? So it was hustle, but yet, you know what I mean? As that shit started cracking down and they was getting money fast, some of them niggas, they was left out too, bro. And they had to start finding other ways to get that. They was cracking, large amounts, big wads, 100%, bro, running it up. I heard a nigga hit for 100, you know what I mean, during the motherfucking the SBA shit. You know what I mean? You showed that you business and they giving you COVID relief funds and all that shit. Motherfuckers hitting for 40s and 50s easy. You know what I mean?
But look what cats is doing with the money. They was going to Gucci and Louis, and they want a big eating and big dressing every day, big chains, big cars every day. Like that's not sustainable.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Eventually, that money is going to run out. Money like chocolate. So if you don't keep it refrigerated and reciprocal in a hustle, it's gonna run out.
That's a damn.
And then what's gonna be the next move?
And I ain't gonna lie, man. I opened that box of chocolates. I'm viable to run through that entire thing in one sitting.
100%.
Yeah.
Especially with these types of sweet tooths we have.
You feel me? And I feel like it's also like a syndrome, like never had it before syndrome. Most people that never had it, when they get it, they have they never had it. So once they get it, these are the things they always wanted to do when they get this bread. So like now they just start going down the list. You know what I mean? Then you run out of money. You're like, all right, let's do it again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but those dudes look like they grown. So it's like, are you thinking long range? Should be thinking long range at a certain point.
That is a good point, man. Got to be thinking bigger. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like what's going to be the next step? Like what we do after we get the money? You know what I'm saying? Like we
paranoid.
Just, like so.
Oh, you said your camera sideways. Derek said your camera sideways.
Mine?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's weird because I'm right side up on this side. I'm gonna jump back in.
There you go.
All right, now you good.
Oh, okay, yeah. Straight like this? No. Yeah. There you go.
Here we go.
Big bomb.
Yeah, but like it's like what what's the next step? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you look at Belly, for instance, when they hit that lick, after they hit that lick in the beginning of Belly, they went to hustling, and they put that money into hustling out of town. You know what I'm saying?
I
So,
got it in Ohio.
you know, so at the end of the day, like, if you don't have like a plan for that money, you're gonna burn out. That money gonna leave you, man.
Yeah, no, them is facts, bro. And then say, like, you know, if they hadn't got caught yet and they up 500, Bogey said it was like a crew of 8. So that's less than 100K for each person. And like
Right.
you said, you know,
Probably why they found somebody dead in that field.
That's what I'm saying. They're probably like, listen, we should split this last one between 7.
Hey, that shit is crazy, bro. Oh, everything. Yeah, man.
I mean, that's why, you know what I'm saying? They say you got to do it up on your lonesome. You know what I mean? Because, man, I mean, the hearts of men, bro, we got to have it all. You know what I mean?
And also, too, like, though, it's just...
Yeah, you ain't lying.
Yeah, so it's just,
you know,
like,
I've seen everybody around me, you know, above water, and I'm just treading water, man. I got to go find a way to go get it. I'm tired of my people's, you know, or I'm tired of myself. It ain't no telling what, you know, where they at in their life, you know what I mean? But, you know, a motherfucker be sick and tired, get sick and tired, and, man, fuck that. You know, I ain't doing nothing. But see, like Bogey said too, though, another thing in the article, they said they was brazen. So once you start hurting motherfuckers for the dough too, though, that's another thing. Okay, this is other people's money, and you not going up in nobody's house, or you not putting your gun on a civilian, which them niggas is civilians. That's you know, just transferring that money. You know what I mean? But still, though, you know, once you get to hurting motherfuckers for that dough, then it's, you know, it's a whole nother level on my mind.
I think that if this is the shit, right? If you've been in the streets from a young cat to like, and you closing in on 40, 45, and you don't got nothing real set up from all them years you've been in the streets, desperation sets in. If you don't think and say, you know what, let me go square up and start. Because, you know, if you say, okay, I've been in the streets 15 years and you can't look at a nice 50 or 100,000 that you got put up, you know what I mean? And you still sitting on 10 G's, 15 G's. It's like, yo, either you square up or you say, you know what, I'm gonna go for broke. Desperation starts setting in. And it's like, you know what, I'm willing to do whatever for this cheddar now. You know, but now I can't play no games now, because if I get caught at this point in my life, you know, 20, 30 years is like a life sentence. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so you going for broke, for real.
You're going for broke.
Yeah.
So now you like, I can't afford it. You know what I mean? And I think that's part of the, you know, when it comes to the decision making too, man.
It's funny because I'm right side up, right? But I'm over here trying to read a thing that's sideways for me. It's kind of a trip. I like it. But yeah, man, bro ain't playing because, man, I'll take you back to, I dropped out of high school my senior year because I turned 18 in November. You know what I'm saying? So I was out of that thing once I was an adult, right? I was like, I'm not going to graduate on time. So I dropped out, went to adult ed. But I remember one of the classes I had an economics teacher. His name was, rest in peace, his name was Mr. Johnson. And Mr. Johnson actually worked at the local pub, like after school. And he would always be out there. So when we got older, he would always chop it up with us still. But he would always say, remember what I told y'all? He said he told us in our senior year, he said the average 28-year-old, and mind you, this is 2003. He said the average 28-year-old at the time didn't even have $10,000 saved up. So this thing this echoed in my head all the way through my 20s, like, I'm not finna be that. You know what I mean? And 10,000 is not a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, when you come from the streets, you start thinking like, shit, you know what I mean? How much money does the motherfucker, can you really get? And if you get it, what are you doing with it? You know what I mean? Because honestly, you got to start thinking of how you're going to clean this money, how you're going to, you know what I mean? Otherwise, that's the natural reaction, is to go get all these chains and I'll buy a whip that's not in my name. And you know what I mean? We start doing extra shit versus like something that maybe he can build a business that I could maybe pass on or something, or even worse, build a business that I can further launder the money through. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You see, some cats think that they gonna be able to hustle forever, and it don't. And when that reality sets in, that is not gonna happen like that. They haven't planned for it. You know what I'm saying? So when you're hustling, so when you
I mean, they might not even thought they would live that long.
Yeah, but then tomorrow comes, and then what? You know what I'm saying? You know, so when you maximize your hustle, you're supposed to transition that into something different, to move away from, you know what I mean? Because that's a crumbling structure. You know what I'm saying? So you maximize.
It's definitely a dying art form.
Yeah, it was always supposed to be a stepping stool to get you from one place to the next. It wasn't supposed to be forever.
You know,
and I think cats get stuck on that, and then time starts flying by. They realize they the money ain't, they blowing the money. You know what I'm saying? And then they end up in a situation where they damn near 40, or in their 40s, and they ain't really got nothing set up. You know what I'm saying? They watching everybody else that then transitioned or then took the straight route from the beginning, and their lives are set up. They're buying houses. They're getting out the hood. They're living good. They have their family, kids, and all that. And they looking like, damn, I ain't got shit. You know what I'm saying?
One of the first easiest, or one of the first, or one of the easiest ways to generational wealth is homeownership.
I mean, you know what's crazy too is that even just with that said too. I mean, you personally, like, you know what I'm saying, like the house like when I'm watching that documentary with your pops, he was born in the house that he was passed on to him, and then passed on to you now, and you know what I mean? Like, I mean that's generational wealth. Whether I think people might have the misconception that generational wealth means you're like, a billionaire or something. Like, this is like having a home, something that's a necessity that you own, and you pass this on to your seeds. That's wealth right there. I mean, it's same thing, like wealth is knowledge and other things that we can pass on, and they pretty much want to keep us dumb in every aspect. You know what I mean?
100%, especially here in California. Just like now you when you pass the house down, you don't inherit the property tax.
And I like that. That's a good change, because they never used to do that.
All these banks, all these big banks in America, they also own a lot of the homes here in America. I don't know exactly what the homes that they do own. They own homes, and then they rent them out. I mean, people that live in that city, that is born and raised in that city, an opportunity to get into a home. You know what I mean? Because it's hard right now everywhere to get into houses, bro. 100%.
But you see companies like Zillow and all these real estate apps, they go on the MLS, and they grab the cream of the crop, and they put their tax on it and put it on the site. You know what I mean? So now they say they took it a step further, I think like in 2020, and they just started, once they generated a certain amount of money, they just started buying mad properties and owning them. You know what I'm saying? So
now they got in-house inventory.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's driving the price up. It ain't just, the economy. Nah, it's them. It's just like with taxi cabs. You know what I'm saying? You had the gypsy cabs and shit like that.
Yep.
Then you got an app called Uber that puts all the gypsy cabs out of business.
And for a while, too, I know New York and even Las Vegas, they fought it off for as long as they could. But the fight wasn't gonna last, because you know what I mean. Now they were all of a sudden overnight overran with competition. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, that's just like Blockbuster and Netflix. I mean, we've been seeing it. I mean, you know what I mean?
You know what's crazy too is like just even the concept of hopping in a car with a stranger, right? Like, we were already accustomed to hopping in with taxi drivers, you know what I mean? But then now we're just hopping in with a regular for all, you know what I mean? Like, I had the homies that, you know what I mean, allegedly they would Uber and move work all day. It was just a perfect cover.
100%.
Just driving around, making drops, picking up people, and you feel me?
And if they the Uber driver, it's not you that's gonna get asked for license and registration.
No,
gonna be that motherfucker, man.
They got the Uber sticker. As long as you're driving straight, they ain't tripping. You got the most. It almost looks less suspect that you got these suspect looking cats in the back, but no one's in the front seat with you. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's just an Uber. You know what I mean?
Oh, facts. Keep it pushing. Oh, my mouth.
You feel me?
Yeah, but they use the technology now to monopolize certain businesses now. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, just like we were saying with the taxi cabs and with the real estate, and you know what I mean. So that's
We're even
something
seeing
that
it in our entertainment. Like we saw ESPN run through it because there's certain things that, like analytics, right? There'll be a whole department of analytics. Those are gone now because you have AI to do this shit now. You know what I mean?
exactly.
NFL Network, they it's crazy because for what it's worth, NFL is probably the biggest in the world, but the network, they're firing, they're like doing mass layoffs. You know what I mean? I think ESPN's about to cop them. You know what I mean?
It's facts, big bro.
Mm-hmm.
On everything.
Yeah, they take.
Yeah.
I mean, them peoples.
Out to Big Brad, man.
Yes, sir.
Out to Brad.
You know what I mean? But that's where it's at. So you gotta stay on the lookout for shit like that. So some people get in a particular industry and think it's gonna be there forever, and they go technology come taking your job or taking your career or taking the existing business. You know what I mean? So things are ever always changing. So we got to be able to move with the changes. You know what I'm saying?
Adapt to it on everything. But you see, that's the thing though. Like how Bogey said about him in his senior year, I was the same way too, though. On everything, a lot of cats is the same way. And then once you do that, you gonna go for what you know. Get it how you live, like how the hot boys say. You got to get it how you live, man. Especially when you come from the inner city, and it ain't too many opportunities. Especially when you ain't got no education, 100%. But it's never too late to go ahead and try and educate yourself and try and get into that direction. But some motherfuckers, like we said earlier, they've been getting it quick and fast their whole life. Shit run out real fast. Boom. Let me make the next big play. Why? And then
being in Cali, bro, like just being in Cali and renting, right? Like just being just geographically, you got to get it or have multiple. You can't just have a regular job. You got to have a regular job and hustling on the side. You got to just to live, just to make expenses. And you know what I mean? And then that equals to more homeless, and it equals to what I mean? It's just
I think not to cut you, but I think it comes down to people having skilled trades or solid careers that actually pay decent money. And having a retirement plan set in place.
That's it right
You know
there.
what I mean? You got to think long range because you don't set up for retirement when retirement comes. It's too late then. You got to be doing that 20 years before. I say like once you hit 40, that's like the maximum time that, you know what I'm saying? Because from 40 to 60, and at 20 years, you could build a little nest egg that'll keep you right. You know what I'm saying? When that time come around, you know what I'm saying?
I was a motherfucker. I had zero resume for real. You know what I mean? No school degrees really. I had shit. And like, what was crazy is like when I had my first kid, I had the homie. He used to do real estate, but like the market had crashed. Now it's 2007. I'm one of his only homies that has a kid, and now he's selling life insurance. He was like, "Bro, you need this shit." He's like, and he told me, he's like, "What if you die, bro? You don't leave your kid shit." And I was like, "Ooh, that hit me hard." So I was like, "So for like $100 a month, I get a $250,000 plan?" And he's like, "Yeah." And like, bro, my daughter's about to go to college in a couple years, and so I all that thing that was part of it. Northwestern Mutual, right? It's like, yeah, this shit will go into her tuition, all the shit. So all this way, I remember fighting my girl tooth and nail to sign up this shit with me 17 years ago or 16 years ago. You know what I mean? But it's like, you know what I mean? Because back then, as a young mustache, I didn't have shit. It was like, okay, if I go, that's it. But now, the irony of that is like, all right, in order for her to get this, I gotta go. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Definitely.
But get a plan B. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's facts, man. But that's the thing. We just got to find a way to transition. You know, like I think you said is, you know, get it while you can, and you know, hopefully that light